Okay, I think you're good to
Okay.
go.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the September 2023 edition of the St. Lawrence County Chambers Lunch and Learn webinar series. I'm Kathryn Puleo, Destination Services Manager of the St. Lawrence County Chambers Tourism Team. This monthly educational webinar series is made possible by the generous support of St. Lawrence University and Clarkson University, who are leadership sponsors of the Chamber. In this edition of Lunch and Learn, we are very excited to educate you about the total solar eclipse, or otherwise known as totality. It's taking place on the afternoon of April 8th, 2024, and we'll be discussing the opportunities it brings to St. Lawrence County to maximize tourism and the economy of our beautifully rural area. We will be presenting a general overview of the solar eclipse and how to best prepare for the once-in-a-lifetime event for northern upstate New York. Before I introduce today's presenter, I would like to run through just a couple of Zoom housekeeping items and how to best conduct today's webinar. First, please ensure that your mics have been muted and your webcams have been disabled. But if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to type them into the chat window. And our handy tech support today is our Executive Director, Ben Dixon, who will be assisting us with those questions throughout the presentation. Please note that this session is being recorded for purposes of broadcasting it on our webinar archive and our YouTube channel, which you may find under our account SLC Chamber NY. After the presentations are complete, we will open the floor for Q&A. We do keep the webinars under an hour so you can get back to work. And I know today's webinar is a very popular topic, and we will do the best we can to keep it just around that hour point. Also from our county chamber team today is our new interim tourism director, Tiffany Amo, who will be helping to discuss how to most effectively utilize our website to promote any events or experiences you would like to market surrounding the total eclipse. And with that, we have Dr. Aileen O'Donoghue joining us as our featured presenter to discuss the science behind the total eclipse and describe why and how this will be a unique once-in-a-lifetime event for residents in our county. Dr. O'Donoghue is a professor of physics at St. Lawrence University and is also on the board of the Adirondack Sky Center based in Tupper Lake. I would like to personally thank Aileen for joining us today and bringing her expertise on why this is such a valuable experience for our community and our communities and its residents. Aileen has been an absolute pleasure to work with as she shares our shared enthusiasm for the eclipse, and she has already been a huge resource with educating partners from around the county and how we need to be prepared for such an impactful event. Once Aileen has completed her presentation, I will be reviewing how the eclipse will present unique tourism opportunities for our region and how that will benefit our local economy, as well as additional opportunities, challenges, and resources. And with that, Aileen, I hand it off to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Kathryn. And so let me share my screen. You push my button, I talk for an hour, having taught at St. Lawrence for 35 years. So I'm going to be pressed to go through it quickly, but I will endeavor to do that. So we have two solar eclipses coming up, one on October 14, a partial eclipse, and one on April 8th, the total eclipse. And so a solar eclipse happens when the moon is between the earth and sun and casts its shadow on the earth. And its shadow is a cone. It's a tiny cone. And so it really scribes like a pencil mark on a globe. It's a very thin path. And then a lunar eclipse, these happen more frequently and occur when the moon passes through the earth's shadow. And of course, the earth's shadow is much larger at the distance of the moon than the moon's is on the earth. So the moon can be eclipsed entirely. Unfortunately, this year and next year, we mostly have partial lunar eclipses, and they're on the other side of the world. So we don't get to see those, but we do get the solar eclipses. So why isn't there a solar eclipse every month is one of the questions I get asked. So we have a new moon every month. So that's the first condition. The new moon is in between the Earth and sun. It's called the new moon because we can't see it when it's between the Earth and sun. We see the moon by the light reflected off of it from the sun. And so when it's a new moon, all the light is reflecting back at the sun, so we don't see it. So that's why it's the new moon. Suddenly it shows up as a crescent. And but there's another condition. So there's the new moon. And here, this shows that the moon's orbit is tilted 5.2 degrees from Earth's. And so when where the moon's orbit crosses the Earth's orbit, these are called nodes or apsides, if you like old Latin terminology. And so here, the line between them is called the line of nodes or the line of apsides. And we can get eclipses only when the moon is on one of the nodes. And so the line of apsides has to point at the sun. So in this upper picture here, it's unfavorable for eclipses when the moon is not on a node because the shadows miss the other world. So the paths of the two eclipses, the October one isn't total, it's annular. And so there will be a ring of fire around the moon, and that cuts across the west, a path a little bit south and more curved than the path of the total eclipse in 2017. The total solar eclipse in April comes across Mexico and leaves off of Atlantic Canada. So here's the path of maximum for the annular eclipse in the west. It's a partial eclipse from our point of view. And so here is St. Lawrence County on a map. And this map, I have the URL here, http://xjubilee.free.france.fr. And /en site pages solar eclipse, if you can write that down, or when you get a copy of the PowerPoint. He has this interactive map. It's a Google map. You can Google Jubilee or UBA eclipse maps, and you'll probably get this. And you can zoom in, and then anywhere you click, you get the eclipse time. So that's where I got these, is from this particular map. If you get a different map, you click in a slightly different place, you'll get slightly different maps, or to slightly different times. So what I've got for this partial eclipse, where the sun will be about 30% covered, Messina will have a 31% coverage and the entire eclipse, not the 30%, but the entire eclipse is from 1208 to 225. Here in Ogdensburg, it's a little earlier. Hammond, it's a little earlier. And then Cranberry Lake, they get a whopping, so Hammond gets 33%. They're kind of won the lottery. Here's Potsdam, and then Canton. And you can get these for your village by going to this map and clicking on, you can look at them for your house. You can zoom in. It's a Google map. It's that good. So here is the big thing, all right, the path of maximum, and this is a total eclipse. And so we're up here. And this is actually, if you get the PowerPoint, this is actually a live link. And again, here is the URL for that. So we will have a total eclipse. And so here is how it will look when the shadow of the moon is sitting over the North Country. The blue is the center of the path, and it's going to be it's where the eclipse lasts the longest. So Potsdam and Messina are north of it. Old Forge is down in the south. Tupper Lake and Long Lake, they're closer to the center. Saranac Lake, you get a slightly longer eclipse. So there's that shadow. And then here is St. Lawrence County superimposed. So all of St. Lawrence County is within the shadow of the moon. So we will all have a total eclipse. Only a strip of Canada along the St. Lawrence will see totality. Montreal, the city, is in totality, but Ottawa is entirely outside of totality. And so we, on the north side of the center of the eclipse, we may be getting a lot of Canadians coming down. If it's a clear day, the news, most people won't learn about this eclipse until the week before. And so there will be a lot of people who suddenly decide to come. So we need to be prepared for that. And if it's cloudy, it will get dark. People may still want to come. And so here's the county, and I can show you some times. So Messina has 2 minutes and 28 minutes, 28 seconds of totality. And here's that. So you can see Cranberry Lake, very close to center, gets 3 minutes and 36 seconds. So that's, a full minute more. And so here is Hammond at 3:23. Here's Ogdensburg at 2 minutes 39, Potsdam 3:11, and Canton 3 minutes and 14 seconds. So I'll be at St. Lawrence University. And so that's what I'll get. I got clouded out for a total eclipse in 2017 in Kansas. I'm hoping it's going to be spectacularly clear. So totality in your location, you can type in this URL, Google X UBA eclipse maps, or click on this link below. This is a live link. Zoom into your location, like the St. Lawrence University quad, and click on the map to get information. And let me show you what the sky will look like. So this is for St. Lawrence. And here's the view from Canton. There is the sun there. This is at 2 p.m. before the eclipse begins. And so there's the sun. And then here's the moon. And notice this is 45 degrees above the horizon. So let me put those horizon lines. This is 15 degrees above the horizon. Your fist at arm's length is 10 degrees. And so 4.5 fists is up to this. So these are about 5 fists high off the horizon. And then this is the path of the sun as the eclipse occurs, and here is where it will be at totality. So it's still high in the southwestern sky. But if you're standing beside your barn to the south, that's not great. So you got to make sure you can see the southwestern sky. And then look, you can see Venus, Mercury, Jupiter. Mercury doesn't show up on this. It's a little too light. But Sirius, the dog star, Rigel, and Betelgeuse in Orion, we might be able to see Orion. And then here is where this is after totality, when the sky is brightening again at 3:45. And so this is the path of the sun along the sky. And so when you click on, say, the quad at St. Lawrence University, the information can be overwhelming. So let me quickly let you know what's here. So let me get rid of that. And so the umbral depth is the percentage distance from the edge to the center of totality. So we're 55% here in Canton, 55% in from the edge. So that's 24 miles. And the path width, so that means the shadow of the moon, the width of the shadow of the moon as it passes over us is 109 miles. So given the size of the Earth, it really is like a fine calligraphic pen scribing this little path of totality. And so the path width, yeah, I just said that. The obscuration here, that's the fraction of the sun covered. It's all going to be covered. If you're going to happen to be in New Mexico in October, you'll look at it, that obscuration will be smaller. And so here, this information, so we get 3 minutes, 13.7 seconds of totality. The lunar limb corrected. This is because the moon isn't a billiard ball. It's a world. It has mountains and valleys, and the sun can shine through the valleys. So they try and look at what is the orientation of the moon, where are the mountains and valleys, where's the sun going to be peeking out? And so that's that correction. And it's always a little bit uncertain. Yeah. So the magnitude at maximum, it's that, yeah, this is just the fraction of the sun eclipse is 101.4%. And that's the ratio of the sun to the moon diameters. The moon's sun size ratio is the ratio of their areas. So that's the difference. But so those aren't particularly interesting. But this one, the shadow is moving at 2,532 miles an hour. That's huge. It's about 3.3 times faster than the speed of sound. If it actually had to move through the air, we'd get quite a sonic boom, but fortunately, the shadow doesn't move through the air. But the air knows it will get cool. It is cooler in the path of the shadow, so you get a breeze kicking up and other things. And so then the last bit, all of this is the times of eclipse event. They are in universal time, which is Greenwich Mean Time with no daylight saving. And so to convert to Eastern Daylight Time, which is what we'll be in both October and April, you just subtract 4 hours. So 1811 becomes 1411, which becomes 2:11 p.m. In our AM and PM system. So, sorry, that went too fast. Let me go back up. So here I have translated all these times. So the partial eclipse starts at 2:11. The total eclipse begins at 3:23. The middle of it is 3:25, and then it ends at 3:27:07. So these numbers you can get for your exact location. And so one of the important things is you have to know when to tell people to put when they can take eclipse glasses off, when they have to put them back on, and the start of totality, they can take them off. The end of totality, they have to put them back on. And then these are just uninteresting things for the rest of us that the eclipse people like. So we'll skip over those. So in October, we'll still have leaves on the trees. And so we'll be able to see in the shadows of the leaves, there are little pinhole cameras in these gaps between the leaves. So we'll be able to see crescent suns all beneath all of the trees. When the sun is not eclipsed and when it's in the partial phases, you must wear eclipse glasses. And it's no more dangerous to look at the sun during an eclipse than it is when it's not an eclipse, except when it's not an eclipse, it's so bright that your eyes tell you, look away from that. And the danger in eclipse is that it's not as bright, and so you think you can stare at it, and that's when you're getting all that ultraviolet light in your eyeballs, and it's not good for your retina. So you have to use eclipse glasses or an eclipse viewer. I have one of these up here. Those might be more helpful for the smaller kids. The Adirondack Sky Center and Observatory has a grant, and we will be supplying eclipse glasses for all of the school kids in St. Lawrence County and in Franklin County. The Adirondack Sky Center and Observatory is really the North Country's observatory. It's not just in Franklin County, it's for the entire North Country. And our mission is to get everybody in the North Country to enjoy the sky, where we have such a good dark sky. Pinhole cameras you can make easily. Just Google make a pinhole camera, and the internet is full of instructions. And the easiest way, just take a piece of cardboard, cut out a little square hole, tape a piece of aluminum foil over that hole, and put a pinhole in the aluminum foil, because you can get a nicer circle. And then you just hold that up and look at the shadow. The hard part is aligning it so that you get the sun through, but you can just project it onto the sidewalk or onto a screen or anything. So during totality, you don't need eclipse glasses. Actually, if you try and wear them, you're not going to see a thing because they're very, very dark. So that's from about 3:23 to 3:27. To be sure, look at your area's totality times. The pinhole cameras you can use, well, they're not really very good during the totality, but you can certainly use them in the partial phases. And this is just, a little bit of saying that I didn't make this up here. This is from the NASA site. that can be viewed. The sun can be viewed safely with the naked eye only during the total eclipse when the moon completely covers the disk. And so what if it's cloudy? I mean, it's not unimaginable it would be cloudy in April. Well, it'll get dark. It'll get almost as dark as night. The birds will roost, the dogs will bark, the chickens will crow, and the roosters will crow. It'll look like sunset all the way around the horizon. I have gone through this in Kansas. I know what it was. The sun, if they're thin clouds, we might be able to see the sun. We couldn't see a thing in Kansas, but it was sunset all the way around and it was dark. And it'll still be an amazing event to get dark for 3 minutes during the middle of the day. If it's clear, and I'm hoping it'll be clear, it can be life-changing. I was giving a talk at Herman DeKalb School, and the superintendent told me he was at the eclipse in 2017, and he found it life-changing. Now he wants to chase everyone he can find. And it's, we're a part of this cosmos. Our elements were all made in the stars, so they're our ultimate parents. The eclipse allows us to see this hottest part of the sun, which is the corona, which is heated by the magnetic field and the fact that this is a nuclear explosion contained by gravity, our local star. And so that we can't usually see it because the surface is so bright. We will be able to see that, and it might be very bright and active because we're coming in on solar max. We'll be able to see some of the stars, certainly planets. It'll be sunset colors all around, and it'll be totally dark. Dogs will bark, the roosters will crow, the birds roost, all of that. The insects let go. And so we want everyone in St. Lawrence, even the last minute visitors, to be able to view the eclipse safely and joyfully. It's an amazing experience, and it's, rare, very rare. We want the kids to view it safely and nobody to be kept inside. There are ways to view it safely, and we want visitors to view and enjoy it. And let people enjoy the North Country. This is a beautiful place. Help them enjoy it. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Kathryn. You're muted, Kathryn.
Thanks, Aileen. I just noticed a question that came through the chat, if you're able to answer that now before the Q&A. Since it's relevant right now, someone asked, what if it's snowing that day?
Nope.
You're muted.
Now you're muted.
All right, maybe we can get to those questions at the end of the
Sorry, I was muted. No, it'll get dark. My apologies. It'll get dark, and we won't. I don't know if the insects will make any noise or the roosters. Maybe the roosters will. The dogs will bark, and we'll have sunset colors all around. It'll still be an amazing experience to just get totally dark during a snowstorm in the middle of the day. And so, yeah. Okay, though the other ones are about the schools. I can't answer those.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Yep, we'll get to those. Thank you, Aileen. We had Aileen present today because we think it's really important for everyone to really understand what it is. So when you are planning your events or preparing for the tourists to come, you know what they're coming in for. And Aileen has been providing some presentations throughout the county already and is available to do so. And I'm
happy to come to any, you get any group together. I also have 2 undergraduate Eclipse ambassadors. They're going to OFA next week to work with 9th and 10th graders. We are happy to travel, and we want everybody to enjoy this. So just email me at St. Lawrence.
And that was the abbreviated version. She did it very quick for us today. So thank you, Aileen. I know we have some questions about education, and we do have that coming up. We are in the planning stages for totality. And Ben, if you can start to bring up our slides regarding tourism and starting to prepare for this event.
Will do.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So now that's what it will look like regarding the sky. So how do we prepare for that? It's getting marketed through the iHeart New York program. And so here at St. Lawrence County, we are here to market our specific area. Next slide, please. All right, so this is just the last little history of the totality itself, is just to give you an idea of this is, total eclipses happen every so often, but in our area, it will not happen again in New York State until 2144. The last time was 1925. So the next total eclipse isn't for 120 years. So this is literally the only time that our county will be able to experience this. There are total eclipses that happen in United States, as you'll see that there's another one happening in 2045, but it's not in our area. So people do go to flock to find these. So we need to be prepared for everyone that is in our area to experience this. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so opportunities. So we are the marketing promotion agent for St. Lawrence County, and a lot of this information is resourced through our partners at iHeart New York. So just, it's a little background of, we know this is coming, we know it's going to be a big tourism event, but this is a little bit more background information of other researchers of past total eclipses and how that affected different areas and how it will be an impact to anyone within the path. And like Aileen described, St. Lawrence County is 100% totally within this path. From corner to corner in the county, there is going to be an opportunity to see this this total eclipse. So people come from all different areas. So in the last solar eclipse, there was over 20 million adults that left their homes to go see the event. So that is scattering out throughout the United States, but even in St. Lawrence County, you have to think about not everyone lives in an open viewed area. So people will be traveling from one side of the county to the other side of the county. People will be wanting to experience this with friends and family. So being prepared for that traffic and the mobility that that's going to cause throughout our residents and our neighboring states and Canada. The economic benefits are going to be significant. Driving throughout New York State, whether they're going from one side to the other, they're going to be passing through our area to stop for gas, to get for food. People coming from Canada, if they don't select St. Lawrence County as their destination, they're still going to be bypassing us. And the Adirondacks is expected to be a huge tourism destination for this event because in the Adirondacks, in the tourist eyes, it is big open skies, it's rural areas, it's a little dark. So those are the types of areas that people are going to want to experience this event. And St. Lawrence County, we are the foothills of the Adirondacks. So it's up to us to offer them where to go to experience those. And then previous data suggests that visitors may arrive days prior to the eclipse. The eclipse is a very short event. The totality itself is only 2 minutes and 30 seconds on average throughout our county. And then there's the beginning phase and the end phase, and it's only 2 hours and 30 minutes of the event. People come for it, but they want to make an opportunity of the event itself. So they're going to be coming a few days earlier, booking hotels a few days earlier, trying to find different attractions to go to and experience the area that they're going to experience totality in. So we need to be prepared for not just totality itself, but the days leading up to the event and the days after the event. Next slide, please. Okay, I've mentioned Canada a couple of times already, and that is because it is our biggest opportunity for tourists in our area. Like Aileen said, Ottawa does not fall within totality's path. And we have the whole Canadian market just at our northern border. And we have 2 major bridges entering into St. Lawrence County. We have the Ogdensburg Prescott Bridge and the Messina Cornwall Bridge. So those residents of Canada will be accessing the United States to see totality within its path, and we have 2 border crossings to access, and we have 2 of their largest cities that are going to be bypassing our area, whether they stay in St. Lawrence County, like I said, or go to the Adirondacks or somewhere else. They're going to be bypassing St. Lawrence County, and we will be impacted, whether it's through traffic, through gas, through food. We need to be prepared for everyone traveling through. And St. Lawrence County is marketed, and we have always marketed it as the gateway to New York. So Canadians know that through our tourism publications. So we're expecting them to be within their traveling route. All right, next slide, please. Montreal. Aileen mentioned that Montreal is within totality's path. However, they are on the outer lines of totality, and they don't have a very long experience. They are a very shortened experience for totality. I put a graph here of all the different locations of Montreal and their viewing times. You can see that the shortest time in their area is 25 seconds, and our largest time is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And they don't even reach 2 minutes. So with that, they want to come to a rural area. In the city, you have difficulty with the mass population. There's a lot of obstructed views in a city for the shadows. With totality, if you're in one location and you have a tower in your way, you're not going to be able to experience the event very well. So they're going to be looking to come to our rural area. All right, next slide, please. This is what St. Lawrence County will look like. These numbers, Aileen and I did pull from 2 different websites, and you will see this if you are going around to different websites, that the times will fluctuate a little bit because it depends on what that website used for the longitude and latitude of where they're pulling this information. So it will fluctuate. And then within these town regions, the further away that you get from those base marks, it will fluctuate on time a little bit. So in our county, the most optimal place to view is Pitcairn. They have 3 minutes and 37 seconds total viewing of totality. So within that line, and all of the Adirondack foothills of our region may have a tourism influx because people can experience this a little longer. And then the shortest viewing area is in Waddington, like on the path along the St. Lawrence River. You're right on the edge. You will see the event. It'll just be a little bit more abbreviated from what is in the foothills of the Adirondacks. Next slide, please. All right, opportunities, tourism and marketing, the bread and butter here that we're getting to. So how is this going to affect us? It's going to be greatly affecting us. When people come to experience something, they need a place to stay, they need a place to eat, and they want to have an experience. So here's some data of, again, different researchers and previous events and people that are preparing for these types of events in the future. They have the data that this is going to be happening, and it's going to impact all of the areas that's within the path. And again, our county is completely encompassed with this event. One thing that was noted during my training with iHeart New York was restaurants and grocery stores will be significantly impacted, and not only during the event that's leading up to the event, but also after the event has completed. So once totality has completed, the event's done. Where do you go? People want to go home, and everyone's leaving at the same time. Totality is done, and it's over. So we have all these people coming into an area to experience this, and they all come in. They're going to be coming in, staggering in a few days ahead of time, couple days ahead of time, but everyone's going to be done with the event at the same time. So at our borders, there might be some congestion of everyone trying to get back into Canada. And one of the things that iHeart New York noted was that if there is a traffic jam, people try to kind of find different places to rest and get some food while they're waiting. And in the past, in previous events like this, some stores, grocery stores and restaurants have ran out of some supplies and food. At grocery stores, that would be quick foods. Restaurants, that's just your general menu. So it is just something to plan for. It doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen, but these are all things that may happen that we just want to keep on everyone's radar here. For education, okay, so I know we had a few questions on that. For education, I can tell you right now that there is no plans that we have heard of at this time. I know it is on their radar and there is talks in the works, but nothing is set in stone. I have been discussing this with some people in the school system and they're brainstorming ideas. So just be patient with that. With the school system, that is their decision on what they're going to do. And they are aware of the challenges and opportunities that this presents us with our educational systems. For example, our P through 12 higher education, it's a great opportunity to educate our kids in school for this, not only during the event, but leading up to the event. It can be a whole experience for them. And for the school kids, if you looked at those times, you may have triggered already that this is going to happen right as kids are getting off the bus. So that is something that schools are trying to figure out what they're going to do, if they're going to do a half day or potentially have an educational event and a viewing opportunity for children right at the school. That is up for them to do some planning. And these are just some things that we're suggesting for them to do. It's a great opportunity to perform STEM activities and keep the children in a safe area to view the event. I will say if it's a half day, people are going to be traveling around. And for buses, it's going to be really hard to maneuver the traffic at that specific time. So that is what we are trying to prepare our educational system here for in St. Lawrence County. Like I said, Aileen O'Donoghue is available for special presentations if any schools would like to have her present what totality is and get the kids excited through school. She's from St. Lawrence University, and that is also offered to our local colleges as well. There's a lot to learn on it, and she has a very extensive presentation. And we are also encouraging our partners to make change to their normal operations, like I was discussing, whether it be a half day or a whole day. That is up to the educational system. But if school happens in its normal routine, it will present challenges for the kids getting home and getting to where they need to be, because it's going to be dark. So even if they got off the bus and there was traffic, it's going to be dark out there for them. So we have to, it's a challenge for our school systems to consider. And also regarding the educational system, there will be people coming home for this. So I've already had some outreach from alumni from our area colleges asking if there's anything going on in our county, because they graduated here. They are in an area in the United States where it's not on the totality path. So they want to come to St. Lawrence County to their alumni and experience this where they went to college. So I do have some holding messages and as well as the coming home people that no longer live here will be expecting to visit their families. So it's not just the regular tourists, it's people that used to live here that we're expected to come back, and we need to have some things for them to do. So let's get to that on the next slide. And I will shoot it over to Tiffany, where we can talk about opportunities to have a great opportunity for people to come and experience this event and how we can market it and what we're doing on our end here at the chamber to get the word out of what's going on in our county, because people will not be able to choose us without having promotable events and viewing areas and everything that encompasses that within our county. So Tiff, I hand it off to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Kathryn. So I'm Tiff, the Interim Director of Tourism here at the Chamber. And I'm not sure if everybody here knows, but STLC Chamber of Commerce is actually the designated tourism promotion agent for all of St. Lawrence County. So we get to use the I Love New York branding on all of our promotional materials. And we actually work closely with the Thousand Islands region and the Adirondack region for all of our promotions. So our main focus for the tourism aspect is starting online. So we have lots of information already available for tourists at visitstlc.com. But we've also created a special promotional webpage just for Totality. So we're putting all kinds of content on there that we can share and promote for anybody who's thinking about visiting the area for the event, and then also for anybody who lives here who just wants to see what's going on. So pretty much anything that is tourism related to the event, we want to share on the page. So we've already started. We already have the page live on our website, and we are constantly changing it and creating more space to include more content. But some of the main things that we would like to include, things like where to buy glasses. So if anybody out there plans to sell glasses for the eclipse, like, we want to know about that so we can share that with visitors so they know where to go to get them. We're also looking for what are the best viewing areas, for people to go. Also, where are all of the events happening, and by region, as well as where to eat, where to shop, all those kinds of touristy things. We've also got resources available for people. So, there's some of the things that like Aileen has been sharing with us, like the timing chart. We're making that kind of content also available on the webpage. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop for all of the information, all of the resources, any frequently asked questions, things like that. We're going to curate that content to kind of make this, easy for people to see, okay, what is going on? What is this event? What do I need to do in order to experience it? Another feature that we're going to be including is a booking platform. We haven't launched it yet, but a booking platform for accommodation specifically in St. Lawrence County. I know a lot of our hotels and B&Bs are quickly going to fill up for this event, but our booking platform will make it easy for people to find those local establishments and book directly. So that's another option on the website. We also are trying to list any of our tourism related businesses, even if you aren't an active member of our chamber. If you're in the tourism industry, we want to list you as a courtesy member, because we want people to be able to find all of our, local businesses and resources whenever they're trying to plan a trip to come and stay in St. Lawrence County. So if you're not currently a member and you're not listed on our website, but you do fall into a tourism category like restaurants, lodging, attractions, get a hold of us and let us know, and we'll make sure that you're listed so that you're showing up when people are looking for things to do, places to stay during this event. And the most important thing here is that we do need your feedback to help us best promote this event in terms of things like we just mentioned, where to buy glasses, what are the best viewing areas locally. So if your business is hosting, an event or anything like that, we want to know about it because we are your promotional arm. We represent St. Lawrence County. We've got that I Love New York partnership. So we really want to make sure that, all the hard work that goes into planning on your end, we can help people connect with you and find out what's going on. And Ben, if you can cue the next slide.
I'll just note, Tiff, that I did add the web page to the chat, our Totality web page. It can be found at visitstlc.com/totality-2024, and I added that to the chat.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Okay, so on the web address that Ben just mentioned, which is right on our visitstlc.com website, there's a section specifically for businesses to add events to our calendar and share business promotions. So if you're not familiar already, on our Visit STLC website, we have a very extensive event calendar, and we've actually created a special filter just for the 2024 eclipse. So if you've got anything special going on, you can go right to this website. You can add your event yourself. It's free, doesn't cost anything, just takes a few minutes. And we'll get your event added to our calendar, which we'll be promoting directly on our website. So that's an easy way for you to, if you've got something going on, we can promote it right then and there, as well as business promotion. So if you're doing anything like, if you're a restaurant and you're going to have a special happy hour, or you're going to create, a special eclipse cocktail, or anything that is just for the totality event through your business, you can share that information with us as well. And we'll be promoting that on this webpage also. We've also created a Facebook event. The page was actually reserved in 2017 in anticipation. So feel free to share the event there as well. Help us get the word out there, help us promote. So there's a link to that as well. And this is just one of the many ways that you can, share what you have going on with us so that we can promote. I mean, you can also reach out to us. But this is just an easy way to kind of help us promote what you're doing. And that's all I have. I'll turn it back over to you, Kathryn.
Thanks, Tiff. All right, so while we were talking about events and we are asking you to upload your events, just a few challenges to consider and be aware of that this will bring is that there is going to be an unknown amount of people coming to the area. There's no specific way to guarantee or predict how many people are going to be coming, where there will be coming. So it's just something that we all need to keep on our radar. It's going to be fluid. If the hotels will be completely booked, there's a way for us to tap into that, and we can share that information to kind of get everyone prepared for any potential numbers that we are receiving. Any data that we have, we will absolutely be able to share that out. Another challenge is multiple community gatherings. So if there happens to be a lot of events going on in one particular area, we only have so many available resources for security and police and whatever the case may be for emergency services. They can't be at everywhere at once. They can't direct all the traffic at once. So it's something that our county is going to have to plan for strategically, depending on what's going on. And with what's going on, it would be great to have everything in one spot. And that's what this website is for. So everyone doesn't have to go search from everyone's Facebook page and website. It's all in one consolidated area. You can see where it is. And it's just, very fine tuned. So it's a quick resource, not only for our tourists, but also for our community planners to understand what is going on in the greater region. So they can prepare for that, for traffic, security, etc. And then there's that operational challenge to oversee viewing areas, to watch it where they can see it. So with the people that are coming in, we also don't know where they're going to choose to watch it. People can just come in and park on the side of the road. They may have a favorite park and want to get in there. There's absolutely no way for us to predict where people are going to come and want to watch this event. Aileen, were you going to say something?
I just wanted to point out that it's going to be mud season.
Yep,
and they don't necessarily know that it's mud season.
Exactly.
And they might drive into places that are very hard to get out of.
Exactly. You are ahead of me. That is on the next slide too. It's another challenge here, that planning event. We don't know what the weather is going to be like. It's April. Ben, if you can advance for me. It's going to be April, so we don't really know what that's going to bring. I have reached out proactively to a few locations to see if they would be interested in hosting a viewing area, and I know that is a concern for the infrastructure of people's lawns. They don't want to ruin it for the summer, but however, there are going to have to be places that we do promote within our county, because people are going to be coming regardless if we have an event or not. So it'd be best for us to direct them so we can choose for them to go, instead of them coming and just selecting and kind of chaos everywhere. So that's something to consider. Limited lodging in our area. Tiffany actually covered that pretty good. So I will skip ahead to RVs. That's something also that's predicted to come in. People from the other side of the United States, those travelers are going to come in and they're going to be looking for a place to park, and it's April, and our resources that we have in the summer aren't open in the spring. So it's something that local businesses and area officials are going to need to maybe consider about opportunities of where to put those people that come in RVs, or the people that come to choose and just come in tent, because those are also potentials as well. Cell phone tower usage. This is more data that I received from the iHeart New York partnership that we have, that cell phone towers may be affected with the mass amount of people being all in a congregated area, especially for our rural area. We are not used to having a lot of people here, so there might be some challenges with that. It was also noted that viewing locations around the Canadian border may cause difficulties with these cell towers. So it's something for people that are involved with those cell phone towers to be aware of and prepare for. Next slide. More challenges. We talked about the border, so that can be at capacity. So Bridge and Port, to be aware of that, and especially Messina and Ogdensburg areas. If there is a buildup on the bridge, they're going to need to go somewhere. So being prepared for a line of traffic potentially surround after the eclipse, everyone's going to be leaving at the same time. However, with that, the people that are going to be leaving, we can entice them here to stay, because a lot of people are not going to want to sit in traffic. So we do encourage for people not only to have an event before the event, during the event, but also after the event. So to make it a full elongated experience for them and a long weekend, instead of them sitting in traffic, we can offer them something to do. We can offer them discounts. We can offer them unique, meals, and make it a full memorable event. That's the whole thing that we're trying to get at, is creating experience for our tourists and defining that for them instead of them kind of choosing it on their own. And I already went over the eclipse with the overlap of the normal school release, but also to consider that's also the end of a work day as well. So I'm not sure what businesses will be planning, but a lot of people, that is also the time that they leave work. So if everyone's on their regular routines, that's going to be additional traffic going all throughout the county. Our mission here at the Chamber is to provide our residents and visitors with a safe and memorable experience and positive viewing experience. So if everyone can really, this isn't just a Chamber event. It's not just a county officials event. It's really an all hands on deck opportunity for our county to really work together and do this right. So I foresee a lot of conversations happening within these next few months. Totality is only a little under 7 months away, and it seems like a long ways out, but the time is now to have these discussions, because people are planning for where to go now. People are looking to book for their hotels now, and people are basing where they're going to choose where to go based off what there's to do and what the lodging is. So you can see here, we talked about the task force, collaborate with planning, successful things with our safety partners and event planning. So if things are happening within your community, what else is going on in your community? It's better to work better together than kind of compete with each other. So I really advise everyone to use that calendar and see what's going on and see how to best partner together to facilitate this large event. And then also we have the limited number of resources available to ensure public safety entities are aware and are planning for all of their events. So again, keep plugging in that website. It is a great resourceful website, but it's, again, to bring it back home, is that this is not just for tourists. This is also for our community and for planners of the community resource. All right. So ways that we can control that. We can determine and identify public and non-public viewing areas on our website. If there's a certain area that you do not want promoted, certain townships, certain events, if you want them private and not promoted, let us know. A lot of things for our website. If we are not receiving information, but we see the information is out there and it's a public event, we'll go ahead and put that into our website to make sure that all the information's on there. But if you don't want it to be viewed, let us know, and we won't focus on your area. Identifying capacity. So for each viewing areas, this is all just different opportunities to plan your event, plan your communities. I do advise, and the New York partnerships that we have advise on local eclipse task forces. So whether that is our county in general or just a local area, this is not a one-person thing to take over. It's going to be a lot of planning. So if anyone wants to create a task force, they can do that in conjunction with your event planning partners and your local chamber of commerce. And that's just not us. We have several throughout the county, so you can partners with those individual towns. All right, I know we're running short, so we'll go to the next slide. Here's some contact information for myself and Tiffany. If you have any questions, our website is user generated. You can self-upload, but if you have any questions about how to facilitate the website, what's appropriate, that would go to Tiffany. Anything that is event related, how to plan your event, how to market things correctly, partnerships within events, that would be myself. So that's our contact information. And then we have some resources from all the data that we pulled. There's a lot of information online, but these are the most helpful resources that we found here for you. And with that, I will leave it to Q&A. Does anyone have any questions, thoughts, concerns? Jim, I know you're going to have something. I can see you laughing. I think you're talking, but you're muted, Jim.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of people I find are skeptical about whether or not this is as big a deal as we think it is, and I agree with you that it is. And just to give people an idea of what a big deal it is, my little Sherman Inn here in Ogdensburg already is all booked, and I have guests coming from Washington State, Tennessee, Florida, New York City, and somewhere else far away. They've been, and we're turning people away already. And I think that's pretty amazing that my little inn is getting calls from all ends of the country who want to come to St. Lawrence County to view the event. So I think the message everyone should take away from this is when you talk to people who say, is this really as big a deal as some of you people are suggesting? I think you can point to my experience in which, imagine people from Washington State, from Florida, from New York City, from Tennessee, traveling all the way to Ogdensburg to see this event. And I only have 5 rooms. So I think, we're going to see people. And I think that I've already shared with the chamber my playlist for musical selections that can be played. I would encourage that we include the area radio stations to encourage them to play eclipse-related music, that we send this out to the bars and restaurants so that they can be playing eclipse-related music, and encourage our restaurants to just have a event at their, at their restaurant on their property so that they can get some of the economic benefit of these people, and, they can go outside, watch the actual event, and then go back into the restaurant and enjoy their favorite soft drink or whatever, and get something to eat, as well as having events at major areas like the Greenbelt in Ogdensburg, Morset Park, other areas for general viewing, because I think you're right. I think this is going to be a real benefit to the area. And the more, we need to give some direction to our businesses on how they can easily participate in this. A lot of them are going to be a little bit skeptical, but if we say, hey, just play this kind of music and have a party at your restaurant, if no one shows up, you're not out anything. If they do show up, you're going to make money. And, most of them can grasp that kind of concept.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. I think you're right there too. And also I have heard, and I apologize, I forgot to mention that, is that there are other hotels that are booking up in the area already. So with that, it's foreshadowing what's going to happen. Tourists will come. We don't know how many, but that we're on the map. So that guarantees something. Any other questions?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm a logistics person, so I'm just thinking in terms of security. We have limited resources in our county as far as police and sheriffs and that kind of thing. So I'm thinking maybe we could look into volunteers and train them. Our parks, as Aileen said, not only they're going to get stuck, they're going to trample our. It's April and the grass is soft and everything is soft, and it's really difficult. I know at Fort La Presentation we really do have to protect our property from being damaged. So I'm thinking in terms of maybe, I don't know, countywide would be big, but each individual area come up with volunteers and train them as to what to do to help relieve some of that security. So
that's a great point. And we're putting also on the website is just, the website is a work in progress, and it will be, it's fluid depending on what everything comes in, but we are adding more resources onto that. And part of that is how to host an event and those things to consider. So I will also add that. That's a great point. We can put in that volunteer suggestion as well.
And also it's going to be a major cleanup effort afterwards, and we have to look into that. So, and I apologize, I got in late. My email was all messed up.
Okay.
So
it goes on YouTube. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. All right. That's it for me. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Marcia. Any other questions?
If you
I have a question, if you can hear me.
Yep.
With the hotel bookings, are people booking for the whole weekend, or are they just booking for that Monday? Because I'm wondering, we're thinking about programming at the Arts Council. Would that weekend make sense, or does it really need to be on that one day? Yeah, that's my question.
We don't have the rates, Jim. I don't know what it looks like on your end, but we can definitely pull information from the hotels and see what that's looking like. We just don't have those statistics yet, but we do encourage people to plan this ahead leading up to the eclipse. But we can definitely follow up with any data that we receive on that.
And also, I think it is going to be around spring break time. So I think, and just being a weekend, that it is wise to plan events, obviously, yeah, for the day of, but I think some weekend programming will make sense during that time frame as well. So I don't know if that helps, but
yeah, because totality is on a Monday, so they're going to be coming up, you know, Friday, Saturday, at least Sunday. Because the day trip will be hard, because I feel like a lot of people will be planning to have everyone doing a day trip, and they're not, and they're going to avoid that border crossing, because if they don't make it over the border, they're not going to experience what they want to experience.
I'm seeing some people are staying for 2 weeks, one individual at least. Some individuals are staying for 3 or 4 days. One individual booked for just 1 day. So it's all over the map as to how long people are going to be booking.
It also depends on where they're traveling from. If they're traveling from somewhere else in the state that's not within the lines, it's more apt for them to only do a night or two. But if they're traveling a long ways, they're going to make a whole experience out of it. If they're traveling multiple states, or if they're coming from Europe, that is also a potential, because Ottawa is an hour away and it's a major airport. And then we're the closest thing south. It's a direct shot with a major highway leading to our bridge. So those people that are traveling longer, we do expect them to stay here longer in our hotels.
Accordingly, it makes a lot of sense for businesses to prepare for increased traffic and customer bases in the days preceding and following the event. If you have questions, you can either just chime in verbally, or you can use the chat. You can also use the hand up icon in the reactions function.
I have a question. What does the chamber plan to do? Any outreach with the restaurants and bars to directly educate them and give them some suggestions on what they could be doing?
Yep, that's what the website's for, is to how to host an event. So that's just not a viewing area. That is also in restaurants and everything like that. That's all geared towards them. And then this webinar is going to go on our YouTube. So we encourage everyone to reshare it. We're 7 months out. I'm sure this is not the first time that we'll be talking about this. It will be in the press and kind of encouraging things to go on. And it's just having everyone help to spread the word. But we will be sharing this information to everyone within the county for all types of businesses.
And also, in addition to just having the information available on the Totality webpage, we will create special blog content specifically for businesses to say, hey, here's some ideas, here's some tips, here's some challenges, kind of a synopsis of all the things we've talked about today. So there's all kinds of information, both, as Kathryn said, for our tourists and our visitors and our locals, as well as our businesses. So yeah, we are keeping them in mind for sure.
You know, because there's a lot of bars and restaurants that are not active with the county chamber or even the local chamber, and they don't look to the county's website. You know, that's not in their viewing. And I'm just wondering whether there's going to be any effort made to reach out and say, hey, guys, you know, because a lot of them have the mindset that the chamber never does anything for them. So why should they get involved with the chamber? And this would be a great opportunity to say, hey, you know, we're the chamber. We're, you know, trying to help you. Here's, you know, some things you can do to prepare for this and, you know, improve your business on a day where normally, you know, not much is normally happening.
I'll note, Jim, I'll note that we do, as part of our work for I Love New York and as the tourism promotion agency for the county, we do, keep track of and publicize all of the lodging, hospitality, restaurants, and attractions in the county. And I'm sure we will be doing direct outreach to each of them to make sure that they are aware of this big event and opportunity that's coming, as you suggest.
And, with the new chamber organization setup, what will the Ogdensburg Chamber operation be doing in terms of organizing Ogdensburg related events?
Well, Lori is on this call. I'll let her chime in, but I know that Fort La Presentation is the first person to raise their hand and say that they're hosting an event. So Laura is working with Fort La Presentation to host a viewing area, and their event's already on their website. It's the first one to be posted. So the more that we have, the more that we can share.
I will start. We wanted to wait until after this YouTube video goes live, because there's so much information that Kathryn and Aileen have shared today. So since this is going to be live, once Ben downloads it to our YouTube channel, I will send out the video link and the handouts to everyone on this call. And we encourage you all to share them. That being said, I will reach out to my members individually. I will go see Judy Ashley at Phillips Diner. I will go see Billy Hosmer at Hosmer's. I will talk to them all individually about what they can do moving forward for the event. And I will reach out to the city and start working with the committee to start planning events in Ogdensburg.
Thank you, Laura. And anything I can do to help, I'm here to help you.
You'll be my first call, Jim.
Especially with that great playlist you put together, Jim.
Playlist.
That's right. That's right.
All right, I know we're a little bit over here. Any other pressing questions? And our team is always here too, as well. If you have anything, there's always an afterthought on these calls, and we have a lot of time. And you might think of an idea later, or have a partnership, or just have a question. So we're here. But anything else for now?
I'll just note, while this seems like a good point for me to note, Kathryn, that Aileen did add the links to her information, the interactive maps to the chat, as well as her email address, which is aodonoghue@stlcu.edu. And also I have reposted the Totality website to the chat. So feel free to grab those resources out of the chat at your convenience.
Okay, great. All right, well, it looks like we're going to wrap up here. So if Ben, you can get those last slides up for me, and we'll close out. All right, and we just wanted to thank you all today for taking the time to join us, and a special thank you to Aileen. I hope this last hour was valuable to you and provided you some useful information to best prepare for the total eclipse in 2024. I would also like to thank Clarkson University and St. Lawrence University and their support in sponsoring this webinar series. And Ben has our upcoming webinars here. If you are interested, we do host these monthly, and those are some upcoming webinars, including some chamber events to put on your calendars. On September 19th, our next event is Business Resource Connections at, I think that's supposed to be SUNY Canton. So sorry, that was my fault. SUNY Canton, not Potsdam. And on September 23rd, we have our Craft Food and Wine Open Air Market. And continuing to talk about tourism, our Assemblyman, Scott Gray, is going to be hosting the last stop on his tourism roundtable tour here in St. Lawrence County, and that's going to be taking place at Applewood Orchards from 3 to 5 p.m. So that's more information if you want to continue to chat tourism. He'll be there. Our tourism team will be there, followed by our networking event, Businesses in the Spotlight, from 5 to 7. And then our next Lunch and Learn is employment resources on October 4th, and then a few additional events there, including our annual dinner at the stables at Windy Point. If you would like to or follow our Facebook page or stay up to date on what's happening with the Chamber, or to register for our next webinar on October 4th, stay tuned for the upcoming e-blast and announcement coming soon. We encourage you to view our other webinars in the Lunch and Learn series by going to slcchamber.org and clicking archived webinars in the right-hand menu, or go to our YouTube channel and simply search for SLC Chamber NY. Also, if you know of any businesses that would benefit from membership in St. Lawrence County of our Chamber of Commerce here, please refer them to us. We can be reached at 315-386-4000 or at info@slcchamber.org. Interested businesses can also learn about the benefits and apply for membership at slcchamber.org. Thank you for joining us and have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Aileen, thank you for providing the information and the science and all those details around the eclipse. We would have been in the dark without you.
It's great fun.
Waiting for that.
I love doing it. I've always told St. Lawrence I teach for free. They have to pay me to grade.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks all.